we're still on our half guard venture here tonight. If you guys can't see, get in here where you can see, feel free to get close. Tonight we're going to talk about the importance of the cross collar and the build up and how that works. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, this is probably the most important guard retention technique that I will ever teach, ever. I've taught many different techniques and concepts, and I'll say this is probably the one that I rely on the most heavily, whether it's gi or no gi. In gi, it's phenomenal. This plays so well into my game and the style of jiu-jitsu that we have. Seeing as how we are a pursuing guard academy, meaning that our guard is built to pursue people, not simply play defensive. We are looking to be very aggressive with our guard. The wrestle up is a massive part of our game, which we will go right back into. We did a month on the wrestle up maybe here not too long ago. We're going to go right back into it. It plays here. But in terms of half guard, we have to understand the steps in getting off of our back. The most important part, building up rather, the most important part of this is the sequence of the framing. Okay, tonight is all about framing and the sequence of the framing that we're doing. So, most importantly, we have to know how many frames we have at any given moment. Now, I'm going to be kind of right here for a minute, so pay very close attention to what we're talking about here. Most important part about this is knowing which frames we are dealing with at the moment, which ones we're trying to accomplish, and where we're trying to put them. Many locations that we will try to be framing, okay? Ultimately, we want to get to a point where we have this cross collar with the thumb either up or down. Now, we'll talk about the importance of thumb up versus thumb down here in just a minute. Then we're going to save about the last 20 minutes of class just for live rounds of this for a minute at a time, getting off your back, okay? So, thumb up or thumb down, and the sequence of framings and how that's important. So yesterday we covered cross face, underhook. We covered how we get out of this position. Massively important. If you didn't see it, go back to either YouTube or Instagram or Facebook and look at this. There was about a 12-minute section that I posted on this. How important it was to establish the frame. So we're going to go right back over this again really quick. First frame had to be my hip frame. The reason that I put this in was to prevent the hip switch in the event that he tries to drop his hip in and get down here like this and cave me in. I need to be able to create space here. So my first frame becomes my hip frame. Now this was the problem, is when my hand gets caught outside the head, how did I move it? Both feet go down to the mat, and I'm going to offset the head, not the neck. I'm not doing it against the neck, because if he drives his head into me, I have nothing. I want to get up here at the crown of the head so that my hand can shift in front of his face. So as I get here, my first frame is in. Now I need to get my second frame in, okay? How I get this second frame in, actually, I'm going to start working on this frame next, but it's going to be the third frame. The second frame is my knee. It seems counterintuitive, but you'll see in just a second. First frame is hip. This one is actually going to be the third, but it's the first step that I'm going to be making here, okay? So here I go at the crown of the head. Notice how I can move his head here, but I can't move his head here hardly. I can't move his whole body. Here I can move his whole body. Here down by the neck I can. So I go off of the top of the head. I'm going to bridge and get my arm back in front of my face. Now if my elbow gets caught inside of his neck right here, that's okay. Okay, because the way we deal with that is I sharply drive my neck, my elbow right into the ear until he pops that head up. Eventually he's going to pop that head up. Okay? So once I get in here, as I start to move this, I now have a frame, but I can't really frame out. So it's under. He can still press on me, but the reason that I can't frame out is why?
You're on your back.
I'm on my back. Guys, the biggest rule in escaping half guard and guard retention is I have to be able to get to my side. I got to be able to. I may momentarily go back to my back once I establish a guard, but I have to be able to get to my side. So frame 1 is in. Frame 2 is in, but I can't frame out off of it. I'm still stuck on my back. So it's in, it's just in waiting. Now what's going to happen here is I'm going to start to push off of this, and my foot goes down and I escape my butt and I insert my next frame, which is this one. My shin goes right in his hip. Here goes the inside of the shin. Okay, now most of my foot is hanging out, it's just the tip of my knee. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna stretch away, and now I have that third frame in as well. So now we got a solid frame. What's the next step?
Build up to your foot.
Build up. Now I bring my elbow above my head. I'm not gonna try to build up by just pulling my elbow down, because the fight is here. He's gonna fight to keep this hand from me. If he knows anything about this guard structure, he knows that I cannot be allowed to get my arm, my elbow up behind me. Otherwise, he's got to bail out completely. Okay? So from here, I may need to break this grip loose. I'm going to reach back behind my head. I got my first and second frame in. Now I build up to the elbow. His guard pass is as good as done right now. Okay? Because the next step is my foot break. Right? Now we can launch into our guard structure, which is where we're going to go here in just a second, okay? So again, flattened out. We're going to work this again really quick. Both feet go down. He's kind of got me flat. Both feet go down. I arch. Arm comes in front of the head. Now I'm going to drive the elbow back in and underneath his head. Trying to frame out. He's still probably pressing down pretty good. I'm framing off the hip so he can't really push in. Both feet, I'm going to scoop my hip out, my knee goes inside. Now I can frame out and break that collar grip if he did have it. Okay? Now my body is long. This hand is going to come behind me, and I'm going to build up. Now my foot break goes in. Push. Okay? Same thing, we're going to do it over and over. Give me 5 reps a piece of each. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.